Hey guys, good evening. It's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. A little bit of a glitch, which I noticed, and whenever that happens, we always resolve it. For whatever reason, after the show ended yesterday, the streaming provider did not provide the video afterwards, which was very, very strange. So I am now redoing the show from Friday, which is August 1st. And then later on, I will do the show for August 2nd. So that's why we're doing two shows today. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's always great to have you here. As we are ending the master topic, the power of connection this evening, we'll also be starting a new one in about a half hour, an hour with another series. But the granular topic for tonight is cultural connection, bridging differences, celebrating diversity, series 4. Show 31, episode number 7. Hey guys, if you're new here, I want to take this opportunity to definitely welcome you from the bottom of my heart. If this is your, let's say, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or whatever time it is you're coming back, welcome back. It's great to have you back with us on the show. If you have not checked out BelieveMeAchieve.com, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and check that out after the show. If you're thirsty, I know I have myself a cup of hot tea here. Maybe you want some water, maybe some fruit, or whatever else you want. Help yourself, and we will get started with the show. So again, my apologies for that, but in doing this for many, many years, I think we've had 2 glitches over almost 3.5 years. So that's not too bad. One was a power outage, and this was a glitch with one of the networks. Again, we try to be very consistent, but you know, if there's something out of our hands that happens, and if we see that a provider let's say causes us problems, well, then we'll drop them, just like we dropped StreamYard when we had a problem with them. Restream has been okay, but I know there's still even higher professional systems that we can get into, which I think we will do someday because, again, they work most of the time, but luckily the glitches have not affected us, so I'm very grateful for that. All right, guys, so let's kick this show off, all right? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, podcast, coach, host, engineer, video producer, marketing specialist, graduate student, and a lot more, and somebody who's passionate about wanting to learn and helping you learn as well. In today's world, the richness of our lives is deeply shaped by the cultural tapestries we engage with every single day, whether in the workplace, in our communities, or on a global stage. Understanding and embracing cultural diversity is not just a nice thing to have. It's essential for meaningful connections, progress, and peace. And it shows people that you really care. In this episode tonight of Inspirations for Your Life, I'm going to guide you through 15 transformative perspectives that can and will reshape the way you see the world and interact with others if you really want to make a change. So get ready, everyone, to discover how cultural awareness isn't just about tolerance. That's delicious. It's about connection, growth, and celebration. So let's get started. Number 1, guys, embracing global perspectives. Our worldview expands when we embrace the insights and the customs of cultures beyond our own. Exposure to different ways of thinking, living, and even problem solving encourages creativity and adaptability, whether through travel, books, or maybe even international friendships. Seeking global perspectives reminds us that there's no single right way to view the world, just many beautiful variations waiting to be explored. So if you travel to different countries, it's important to know what their cultures are because we don't want to indirectly or directly offend them. Number 2, understanding unconscious bias. This is a real big one. Unconscious biases live quietly within all of us, unfortunately. Recognizing them is the first step toward overcoming them. When we become aware of automatic assumptions, we open doors to fairer, more inclusive interactions. This awareness helps dismantle barriers and allows us to truly see and hear others for who they are, not just how we perceive them. So building inclusive relationships is important. Inclusion isn't just about inviting others in. It's about making them feel like, well, hey, they belong. we build inclusive relationships by actively welcoming differences, diversities, being respectful, and showing genuine interest, care, and compassion in people's unique experiences. We may not believe in that or want to go down that pathway, but it's important that we respect what other people do in their lives. It's these relationships that create and cultivate a stronger, diverse set of networks where innovation and trust, well, it just sort of thrives. Number 4, celebrating cultural traditions. And you might say, John, why do we want to do this? This is very key, guys, that, we do this, because if we don't do this, this can be, it can be a very, very big problem. Okay. A very, very big problem. And I know what you're probably saying. And you're saying, hey, John, it can be a challenge, right? I get it. So every culture brings, well, its own, let's say, rhythm, color, and wisdom. And when we take the time out of our busy schedules to celebrate holidays, foods, music, and customs from other cultures, including our own, we honor humanity's collective creativity and the spirit that's in all of us. These moments of celebration can spark joy, they can foster appreciation, and even deepen our own level of mutual respect. Number 5, encouraging open dialogue is key. True understanding begins with a conversation. Encouraging open and respectful dialogue, especially around uncomfortable topics, helps dismantle stereotypes and reduce fear. Listening with the intent to learn, not to reply, transforms and exchanges into bridges of empathy. I think a lot of people want to be heard, and they're so concerned about them getting heard that, what happens? Well, they go on this rude track, which is unfortunate, but it really does happen sometimes, and I apologize, but that's just kind of what happens. Number 6, finding unity in diversity. Now, this takes a little bit of patience, a little bit, a lot. Diversity isn't a divider, guys. It's a strength. When we come together, not despite our differences, but because of them, we create a stronger, more resilient community. And I think other people, when they see this, are more respectful of us. Our differences will bring depth to the table, and unity comes from recognizing that we are basically all better together. It's not about a competition. It's not about whose diversity is better, because nobody's is better. We're all here to learn and to grow. And I think that's a really important thing. Regardless if you have a background myself, like Italian or German or whatever it is, English, you have to respect something. Even my own parents, for example, they would say things and I'm like, what are they doing? And my dad would say things too, and I'm not going to get into what he's saying, but I tend to be very, how can I say, accepting of people. My dad, well, he's accepting to a point. Something today that we would consider, let's say, discrimination or prejudice, he would consider his rights. And I don't agree with him on that. So I say, Dad, I'm going to agree to disagree. And that's all. Learning from other stories are powerful vehicles for connection. When we listen to someone's personal journey, especially from a background unlike our own, we begin to understand their struggles, their triumphs, and even their humanity. See, these stories can shift perspectives and open hearts in profound ways. But many people just have their own agenda on the mind, and they figure out that you're not important. And the only thing I want to get across is what's on my mind. And I got to tell you, that is a very, very, how can I say? That's a very, very bad thing. Okay? Very, very bad thing. And so maybe you're going to say to me, John, this isn't right. And I'm going to tell you 100% it's not right. Absolutely not. Number 8, promoting cultural education. Education is the foundation of empathy. Teaching about different cultures, histories, and traditions in school and workplace or home helps both children and adults develop open minds and compassionate hearts. Cultural education empowers us to respect others and enriches our understanding of the world. So when adults act a certain way, well, younger people are going to follow that example. And sometimes when younger people act a certain way, sometimes the older people will sometimes take that as a kick in the pants and say, hey, you know what, maybe I should be acting differently. But there are people like my dad, love him dearly, but unfortunately sometimes there is a tobacco of prejudice. And I just try not to get into an argument. I just say, hey, Dad, that's not really fair. Well, you weren't around when I was here. I was like, I understand all that, but everyone needs to be treated with respect. He'll go on a whole thing, well, they don't deserve respect, what they do. I said, I understand that. But you are basing every person in that category as a stereotype, and that's a big problem. And then he just kind of goes into the other room. Okay? That's a very, very big problem. Number 9, respecting different worldviews. We may not always agree with others' beliefs, but respecting them is crucial for peaceful coexistence. Respect doesn't mean alignment. It means acknowledging that everyone's perspective is shaped by their own lived personal experiences and deserves to be heard. If you don't agree with somebody, you can say something very politely. Hey, John, I'm going to agree to disagree with you. That means that, hey, John, I have heard what you said. Okay, I respect what you're saying, but I don't believe that in my way. And that's perfectly fine. Respect is all we're asking for. Respect. We're not here to, be a drill sergeant, say, you must believe this way or you must think this way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everybody has free speech. Okay. And that's a very important thing, guys. A very important thing. Number 10, listening with empathy. Oh, this is my favorite. Empathetic listening is a superpower I wish more people would develop. When we listen to understand, not to respond, let me say that again. When we listen to understand and not to respond, we validate others. Let me say that again. When we listen to understand and not to respond, we validate others. Their feelings, that is, and their experiences. This type of listening allows us to forge, stronger emotional connections and build trust, especially across cultural lines. And that might be something that you didn't think was possible. Maybe if you're visiting another country, it might be important to read up on their cultures, on things like, how do they say hello? How do they say goodbye? What are some cultural things that they expect to show them respect? Number 11, promoting peace through understanding. Peace isn't passive, guys. It is active. By learning about and from one another, that is, we create environments where conflict is replaced with compassion. So when we learn from one another, we create environments where conflict is replaced with compassion. We're always going to have, let's say, a difference of opinion, but it's how we choose to handle it, right? That's going to make the difference in whether we get seen as a good guy or a bad guy. Cultural understanding dismantles the fear. What's fear, guys? False evidence appearing real. And it promotes cooperation even in the face of differences or hard times. Number 12, guys, valuing each person's background. Every person brings something unique to the table. When we value someone's background, we affirm their identity and show them that they matter. You see, this validation can empower individuals and uplift entire communities. But the key is you've got to do it with integrity. Number 13, language as a bridge, not a barrier. Language is more than just words, folks. It's identity and expression. Rather than seeing different languages as obstacles, we can use them as bridges, as stepping stones for connections. Even learning a few words in someone else's language can show deep respect and spark meaningful rapport with them. They know you don't know the whole language, but the fact that you took some time to learn some cultural words like hello, goodbye, please, thank you, very important. It shows that they matter. Number 14, sharing cultural journeys. When we share our cultural journey, our roots, rituals, and revelations, we invite others into our world. Now, these exchanges will deepen understanding and help others feel safe to share theirs too. The more we share, the more we grow together. Let me say that again. The more we share, the more we grow together. The more we share, the more we grow together. Our last point, number 15. Leading with cultural humility. Oh, this is priceless. Cultural humility is the recognition that we don't know everything and never will. It's about remaining teachable, asking questions with sincerity, and being willing to adapt. True leadership lies in humility, not authority, especially when navigating diverse communities. And I know that you might feel you're not getting a share end of the stick, but realize that if it seems like that, it probably means that you're not having an open mind. That's what that means. So here's the part of the show, guys. Well, I love the whole show, as you know. But here's the part of the show that I really, really enjoy. And so I'm going to give you a personal lesson or story for basically each point. And it is my hope, guys, that by doing this, it's going to solidify what I'm talking about tonight, why I'm talking about this. And that might sound like something that's really, really strange, but it's coming from truth. It's coming from integrity. And I think when something hits home in your own world, you are more likely to pay attention to it because it's in your world. Now, if you don't believe me, well, just connect with things that you do personally. And you're going to see something completely different. Like if you want to bond with somebody, well, don't do what everybody else does. Strive to become genuinely interested in the other person. Dale Carnegie said it. Embracing global perspectives. In college, I studied abroad in, actually, I was in several parts. I was actually in France. I was in, where else did I go? I went to Switzerland. I went to Italy. And I stayed abroad over the summer, and I got credits. I remember struggling at first with cultural differences. Meal times were later, greetings were longer, and bargaining at markets was an expected norm. But instead of resisting, I leaned in. I learned to drink mint tea slowly. Yeah, that was fun. To greet someone, not just someone, but everyone warmly, and to appreciate the art of conversation, not, hey, I only got 2 minutes, let's just get, no. We really start to enjoy and value each other. That experience opened my eyes to how deeply our assumptions are shaped by culture and how rich life becomes when we step outside them. But if we don't value that enough to focus on the moment, we're going to miss that whole beautiful magic. Understanding unconscious bias. While mentoring new hires at my tech firm, I noticed I was giving more attention to those who shared a similar background in mine. It wasn't intentional, but it was real. After attending a workshop on unconscious bias, I realized how these subtle preferences affect fairness and inclusion. From then on, I made a conscious effort to listen more openly, include quieter voices, and give everyone the same shot at being heard, not just the ones that I felt were going to take it up the ladder. Building inclusive relationships. I once worked on a team where one member, a recent immigrant, rarely spoke up in meetings. Instead of assuming they were disinterested, I invited them for coffee to learn more. That conversation opened the door to a vibrant exchange of ideas, and their unique perspective ended up solving a major project bottleneck that we had been working on for months. Inclusion is often just a quiet invitation away. Why not give it a try? You'll be surprised at the results. Celebrating culture. A Filipino friend invited me to their family's Christmas celebration, which included Noche Buena, karaoke, and traditional food like licon, if I'm saying that right, For a member, participating in their joy and rituals so different from my own, it helped me understand the depth of their values, their family, their gratitude, and their generosity. See, sharing in those traditions wasn't just fun, it built real connection, and it showed the other person that, hey, I say they give, and that I care about them and their culture. Encouraging open dialogue. After a heated political conversation at work, which I really stay away from politics, tensions ran high. I organized a voluntary lunch talk where people could share personal experiences behind their beliefs. No debate, just stories. What started as discomfort turned into a powerful moment of empathy. As people realize that being behind every stance is a human story, and it's worth listening to. So I think a lot of people, come from the defensive. Maybe you've had challenges with people, and it's okay. Sometimes if that's happened in the past, I'm like, hey, look, I don't mean to be defensive. I have had challenges in this area. And when everybody tries to come and help in this area, I've had challenges. And so forgive me if I'm not being so supportive of you. It's just that everyone that's come in to help with this volunteer project has just kind of ghosted me because they didn't really want to do the work. Finding unity in diversity. Volunteering at a support center, I saw people from war-torn countries working side by side with locals to build community gardens, language barriers, religious differences. And trauma didn't stop them. In fact, these differences made the space more vibrant. Their shared goal united them and reminded me how diverse voices can harmonize beautifully. Learning from others, guys, stories at a storytelling night. I heard a transgender refugee from Syria recount their journey. I was struck by their resilience and their humor, despite incredible hardships. It wasn't a political speech, it was just a story. And it shifted something in me, helping me see layers of humanity I hadn't fully understood before. Not because I didn't want to, but because I just was not aware of them. And I think a lot of times we miss things and we discount things because we don't see the other side of the coin, one that we didn't even know really existed. Promoting cultural education. As an engineer and as somebody who teaches lots of different classes, I once introduced a unit on world religions. A student who had felt isolated as a certain family saw his faith represented in the classroom. He beamed up with pride and even helped teach that part of the lesson. That day I realized education isn't about facts, it's about visibility and validation. Everybody in our culture wants to get validated, regardless of what they say. Respecting different worldviews. During a visit to a foreign country, I found it odd how quiet and reserved people were on public transportation. My initial reaction was judgmental. But after learning about cultural values like harmony and respect for others' space, I felt a deep admiration. I didn't have to agree, but I could respect and learn. And I think that's what we have to do when we're Americans and we visit other countries. And when other people from other countries come and visit us in America, they should adopt the same philosophy. I know lots of times when we hear foreign people come to the country, we get upset because they don't take the time to listen. But then I realized when we go there, do we take the time to listen? Now, it doesn't say one side's right or the other side's wrong. It's just saying we both should be, walking the walk and talking the talk. Listening with empathy. When my friend from a different country told me about his family struggle during a recent earthquake, my instinct was to offer advice or solutions, but I caught myself. I sat quietly and just listened. See, that silence filled with presence was more healing than any words I could have ever offered. Promoting peace through understanding. I once worked on a joint art project with students from Israel. It wasn't easy. There was pain, history, and distrust. But through shared creativity, we built something together. Dialogue facilitated with patience allowed understanding to grow where, division once lived. Valuing each person's background. In a team meeting, a colleague mentioned using a traditional farming technique from her Native American heritage. At first, others overlooked it. But when I encouraged her to explain it further, We all realized her insight could revolutionize our sustainable design model. Her background wasn't just valuable, it was essential. Language is a bridge, it's not a barrier. While traveling to another country, I learned to say different words, and these simple words transformed the way locals responded to me with smiles, helpfulness, even friendship. It reminded me that effort in language, no matter how small, is an act of respect and connection. You can Google it, you can ask it to translate things for you, and that means something. Sharing cultural journeys. I once gave a talk about growing up in a multicultural household. With let's say one parent being from Nigeria and another one being Swedish, and explaining that you can share the joys and tensions of blending two cultures in one and sparking an outpouring of stories from others. That night, I help people discover how similar differences really can become, and it's these differences that actually make us similar to tie together. Leading with cultural humility. As a project manager, many times over, seeing big global teams, I once made assumptions about time zones, holidays, and communication styles. After several missteps, I started asking questions instead of making calls. That shift from I know to teach me transformed me from a director into a true leader. And I think that's something that everybody has to, well, embrace. If you find that you are, let's say, being unfair, or you are being short with certain people, is it because they're from a different culture? Are they a different skin color? What's the reason? Is it because, they're somewhere that you want to be and you're just envious of them? That's not a way to be in the world. We're in our world to help people. And that's important. I know I work with some not-for-profits, and I can't tell you how many people in this one sector all go after each other because they consider it a competition of who has more members. That's not what community is about. Somehow, I don't know. It's like the document for the standard SOP didn't get updated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Johnson Morley, serial entrepreneur. Again, I apologize for what happened. Again, not my fault, but this is the Friday night show, August 1st. And a little while later, I'm going to put out the Saturday night show, which will be a brand new master topic. So you're going to see me twice tonight. I know that's really great. Again, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Do go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I'm going to catch you real soon. Be well, everyone. Take care.